Hey everyone, it's Janine here from the Wealth Building Academy, and today I wanted to share a video with you on how I was actually able to turn $500 into $6,000 by investing in a pre-IPO company. Now I do want to note that this isn't for everybody. This is more of an advanced investment strategy and more risky, so you shouldn't enter into anything like this if you don't have a good understanding of what you're doing or if you don't have a good base portfolio laid out. I'll also say this isn't for the faint of heart. There is a lot of risk that you can take on when you're investing in a private company, but was something I had wanted to do for a number of years now. So I used the platform FrontFundr, which I'll link below, as an opportunity to invest in private companies pre-IPO and purchase shares. So I purchased shares or $500 worth of shares in The Very Good Butchers, which is a vegan meat company out of Victoria, and we had tried a few of their products before, and was something that I kind of knew what their business model was. I knew what their products were, and I was interested in. So the minimum amount you could invest was $500. So I put the absolute minimum in because, again, I'm probably a more risk adverse investor than the average person, but I was still obviously taking a lot of risk. That $500 could have never seen the light of day. We could have never seen the company IPO. This $500 was invested in convertible notes, which meant that every year that you held the notes, you would get paid a certain percentage. And then if the company IPO'd, you could convert those notes or bonds into shares. So about 18 months after I invested in this company, I received an email that they were planning on doing an IPO, which was really exciting, but I also had no idea what to expect, if it was going to go forward, and what the price of the share was going to be when it IPO'd. And when I looked back at the documents, the calculation was quite convoluted, but thankfully some of the financial management people and the management of FrontFundr put out a calculation to share how many shares you would be able to get with your convertible notes, and also the price at which the shares would be IPOing at. So after it was all said and done, I ended up with 4,250 shares at a cost base of 12.5 cents per share, which is about $500. When the shares went public, they were at about 71 cents per share, so I had already made a decent gain, and I've seen in the past few months them jump up to about $2 per share at the highest point, and they're sitting at about $1.50 per share right now. If we take kind of the price that it has most recently closed at, the total value of the shares that I hold is about $6,502. So I've definitely made over $6,000 in that investment. However, I haven't sold it, which means I guess the gain is technically unrealized. These shares are sitting in a general investment account, so when I do sell them, they are going to be taxed. They're not in my TFSA or my RSP. I'm out of room in my TFSA. And I don't actually know if I could have put them in my RSP. Regardless, when I do sell them, I will have a gain of $6,500 minus $500, so $6,000 worth of gain, and 50% of that gain is taxable. So $3,000 is taxable, and the tax rate will probably be around 40%, which means I'll have a tax bill of about $1,200 if I was to sell those shares today. So not terrible, but I mean, that's a pretty large tax bill for a $500 investment. So I will probably hold on to those shares until next year because I don't really want to pay more tax to the government this year, and I'll be going on mat leave. So I am worried a little bit about cash flow, so I'm just trying to manage that as well. This is one really good way to tax plan. I am going into a lower income earning year because I will be on maternity leave. So that would be a good time for me to sell the shares, as that tax rate of about 40% or 45% or whatever it ends up being will be lower in the year that I am on mat leave. So I can potentially get some cash out of those shares if I choose, and ultimately pay a lower tax rate than I would this year. As I mentioned before, this is more of an advanced kind of playing with your money strategy when it comes to investing. Angel investing and pre-IPO investing is something that I'm really interested in. I'm not an accredited investor just yet, but hoping to be one maybe in the next couple of years and start to invest in some more small businesses and companies like that. So just know that there is a lot of risk associated with these types of companies. And again, not for the faint of heart, not for beginner investors, but is definitely an interesting story. And I had kind of fun with this money and it ended up working out really well, but it could have just as easily gone to zero and never seen the light of day again. I would encourage you to check out FrontFundr if that's something that you're interested in doing. They have a lot of great companies on there, and I do like that the minimum is in most cases between $500 and $1,000. That's much more accessible than some of the venture capital funds that you see floating around Canada where they require thousands of dollars for you to even be involved. So if you have any questions about private investing or about my story, please leave them in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next week.